reason. I am excited to be speaking to you guys and share some of my journey with you. Throughout my chat with you today, I am going to be adding a number of pictures and visual cues to show what inclusion has meant for me. I have cerebral palsy and won't bore you too much with that. What you see is what you see. But what you may not see on the surface has all occurred due to living an inclusive life being just what I am used to from the beginning. This beginning started before my educational settings and has stayed with me now. I am doing my own thing. I know no different, as despite my obvious needs, I have communities, friends and family that ensure my needs outside my disability are met as well. As a 28-year-old, I often wonder what it was that gave my mother the strength and foresight to see the inclusive education was the only option for me all those years ago. I often wonder why it was when the professionals told her special school was the best for me, she stood her ground and kept her eyes on her own vision for me. Along the way, I have been blessed to have a number of people along the way to support me at pivotal times. Also, my mum has also given me the breathing space to fall, sometimes literally, at times, and experience life how it is meant to be. Warts and all. I titled my talk today The 10 Things I Love About Inclusive Living because I love my life. I have friends and a good mix of them. I have a career as a music journalist, and it is always interesting the people I mix with in this industry. I may name drop or put picture or two up of people I have interviewed or met in the next 20 minutes or so. Sorry, sheer of time. I have a future and opportunities that had my mother listened to certain people. I am not too sure my life would have panned out the same way. While I would have loved my mum to come up today, she was unable, so if time permits I have some video of questions asked my mother. So let's get into my top 10 reasons, counting down from 10 to 1. 10. Life is fun and challenging. While today you may see some exciting things I have done and am doing, it is also presents a challenge at times. I go through hard times like anyone else, but I have an awesome bunch of people that get me through these times. I seriously love being included. It ensures that the hard times in life have minimal long-term impact on my well-being and state of mind. Inclusion rocks, but having a disability does not mean I need to be cotton balled or protected too much from the challenging times that ultimately we all have to go through. As HIDs through as parents, please give your kids some breathing space. We all need to fail to succeed. 9. Safety and control over my life. As a 28-year-old woman that relies on the people for basic needs, safety and control is so important in my life. My day literally is at a standstill if I don't have a variety of people in it. I am fortunate I have always lived in the beautiful Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast. Not saying my backyard is better than yours or anyone else's, it is pretty damn good and I am blessed. Burleigh is and always has been my immediate everyday community and I feel safe in it. It starts with my neighbors in my cul-de-sac, but does not stop there. Being part of this community ensures I am safe. Being safe makes me feel like I can take direction in my life and try things and grow as a person. Having cerebral palsy, I can't control my body. Literally, some days my body movements are so bad I can't control many things. But despite this, I feel I have complete control and autonomy over the decisions in my life. Even when people disagree with my choices. Ultimately, I feel as if I can still make them and even be supported in making the wrong decisions, if people see them as such. An inclusive life does that because having a disability doesn't stop one from making dumb decisions, at least some of the time. 8. Expectations. From an early age I had expectations placed on me. I have shared this story many times, but I'll share again. When I was in grade 3, I went to my friend Ali's house after school. In her bag she was given a note that her mum had to fill in to buy a recorder for our music class. I hadn't got one of these notes, however, and my mother had found out. Well, to keep the story G-rated, I'll summarize and say she reminded my school principal at the time I was part of my regular class, and the expectation was that I would buy a recorder and be part of my class. Now, due to my cerebral palsy, it is pretty clear I cannot blow in a recorder, but the expectation my mother placed on me was to be part of the class. It was an irrelevant fact. I totally sucked and would fail at every attempt to blow in the damn thing. I definitely didn't make music required to be remotely competent. Visualize lots of dribble and an Ed pulling out the washers to clean up my mess. It was awesome though. My mother was the best expert when even those that were professionals told her not to expect too much from me. There were many times when she was alone in her journey when people told her as long as I was happy that is the best. My mum had always shown me love and expected the most from me. Her expectation that I would have a job led to my first business, Burley Bouncers, which has provided me with financial means to achieve many other inclusive life opportunities. I have a real job with real pay and inclusion, and being known is something which happens naturally in my work environment. Sure, I need support to achieve this, but in all workplaces we all need support. In the past, however, sometimes the end result was success and happiness, but often the realization was failure and tears. Ultimately, I am happy now, well, most of the time. Expectations doesn't always mean success, and often I may fail. I have started a new business in renting wheelchair accessible beach matting, and I have much work in order for this to become a success. If I fail, I lose at least $20,000. However, I will not fail in this venture, and it will be successful. But if for some reason failure happens, I know it's all okay and life goes on. I also am a published author and have books for sale after kids book and a photography quote book. So I was expected to live S&D inclusive life, and this includes work, and I love work. Expectations comes with risks, and risks come with rewards. Love the fact I have expectations placed upon me, and having an inclusive life, I am not wrapped in cotton wool. I love inclusion and shudder to think how my life would be different had I been segregated. Seven. Friendships and relationships. I think having friends and relationships in life is the only way we can truly be happy or whole as human beings. Central to all things I have achieved in life have been friends, family and community relationships that have supported me. It is quite obvious to anyone in this room the physical things in life I need to function. Having a disability doesn't, however, stop other aspects of my life. Anyone who knows me knows that I enjoy many things such as travel, adventure, music and the beach. My friends and family are the most amazing people in my life, and without them I would not be here today to share my story with you all. Inclusion for me is the ability to have these relationships, and these relationships ensure my world is complete. I love my friends. I have such a wide variety of friends. I have my school friends that I have known from primary school and still keep in touch, albeit not as often as I would like these days. Kendall has been a friend from grade 5, and even though she is married now, we regularly catch up. I have friends from my business management course that I spent the 5 days a week with. I have uni friends, older friends and girlfriends around my own age. Life is good, and my friends don't really care about my cerebral palsy. It's a lot more fun hanging out with friends over paid workers in environments such as movies, concerts or going to the local pub. Inclusion is awesome and allows for healthy relationships, and most importantly, friendships. My friends in life are my best asset. 6. Experiences. Inclusion for me means that I can have experiences. I have had many experiences. Some I have loved and some not so much. I am totally addicted to travel, and last year I went to China. It wasn't my favorite travel experience, and to be honest I probably won't go back again, but it was fun. An inclusive life made this trip possible. Firstly, I found another person that wanted to go and check it out. Therefore I didn't have to pay a carer as such, and we went pretty much 50-50 with all associated cost. Most of my trips and experiences have been like this. I don't take this for granted, because had my mother all those years chosen the segregated journey, this would not have been possible. Travel is still an important part of my life, both socially and also for work, and my natural supports will still be needed in order to maintain my addiction. Luckily, I don't need to rely completely on them guys to keep having the best experiences. Mind eyes now makes my work travel more attainable as there is scope for me to pay people separate to my own cost. This makes it affordable for services to just pay my wages. However, I do have to rely on my inclusive community and ensuring I am part of it to ensure my options remain as they are now. If anyone wants a speaker, hit me up, I am available. Inclusion has ensured I have needs met holistically. The best example I can share with you on this one is when I finished school, like many other teenagers, I lost some friends. A little over 18 months after school, it was really affecting me, as in school I was very social and am happiest when I have heaps of friends. It also was a time where at home there was a bit of pressure and a lot of arguing at home. Basically, it was a pretty suckful time. So we thought, what is the typical thing a non-disabled 18 to 21-year-old might do? Travel was what came to mind, and I had done a little bit already, especially in that first year of leaving school. I thought it would help me meet more young people and replace the void not having a lot of friends around. So the year I did my business course, I did a few short trips. When I finished, I started planning a larger trip. We did the trip. It was a Contiki one where there were lots of young people. I took Bert as he knew me best, but we did 2 different ones over 3 months. The longer Contiki was 28 days. It confirmed to me why inclusion was the only journey for me from an early age. After 3 days, I didn't really need Bert for a majority of the time. I had people my age pushing my chair, giving me drinks, feeding me, and basically just being young and stupid with me. I love inclusion, and I have many stories throughout my life of just natural help happening. I have done a number of these trips now, and the friends I have made are lifelong. I have many communities, but to name a few, my music community, base jumping and skydiving community, and my traveling buddies. Life is about experiences and connections. I love this about inclusion. While I have grand dreams of being financially successful, life is truly about enjoying it and living it to its full with awesome experiences. Five. Goals. Having an inclusive life means I can have goals and the belief I will be supported in them. Some are simple, others require a little more work. Most of the people in my life know my goals and believe in my desire and ability to achieve them. I shudder to think what goals would have been developed for me had my life been segregated as a disability service client. Being included means despite the obvious things I cannot do, I am confident I will be supported to achieve my goals. Many of my goals, especially around my work goals, would not be feasible if I was segregated. I need to be visual. I need to have an inclusive life. My mother always taught me to think ahead of time and have goals. Bert has taught me to set business goals and has helped me create income streams from very little money. Being part of an inclusive community has seen me achieve goals very quickly. An example of this was when I wrote my first book. It was a partnership and my expenses came to $4,500, and originally I thought I might have to crowdfund. It was suggested to me to throw it out on Facebook that I would pre-sell this book. To my surprise, my community of friends rallied behind me, and before we even sent the draft to the printer, I had sold $3,750 worth of books, and within a month of receiving the book I had earned a profit. Now I have reinvested the money and have strategy where I will always have money for the next book. I am blessed my communities have rallied and supported this goal. Having an inclusive life ensured my goal of becoming a published author was achieved, and now I have sold approx 4,400 books and have ensured another income stream for the rest of my life, as it is now profitable and works are underway for more books. For those that set goals and focus on them, very rarely can we successfully achieve them unless we surround ourselves with people. I have these books for sale today as well if you want to check them out. 4. Resilience. Before I mentioned about risk and rewards. My mum had often been looked at sideways by people that has questioned her decisions at time. I love my mother more than anything else because she has given me a thick skin. Life doesn't always work in our favor, and sometimes crap things happen. If I was segregated, I think some of the things that have happened in my life would be so traumatic. Not sure if anyone saw my recent dealings on TV regarding a segregation issue I had at an Eminem concert in Brisbane and also at Pink here in Sydney. In a nutshell, we had VIP front section tickets, and due to my wheelchair we were relegated to the back wheelchair section. Even though this isolation was forced on me and it truly was rubbish being segregated in my music community. Having thick skin ensures good will be coming from this situation. Already we have seen massive changes in this space in the last year. Love how inclusion allows me to be resilient and have a good life despite some not so positive situations that pop up from time to time. Three. Community. My community is awesome. Inclusion is all about community and choosing which ones we wish to be part of. Segregated communities are being forced to be just part of one community limit one's potential and how one can also give back and contribute. I think this is why I like traveling so much. Seeing other communities and how people live is interesting. Coming home to my Burleigh community is always special as this is where I feel most at home. The smell of the salt water as I go walk along the beach is the best. Knowing I can walk from my house to the beach by myself and a dozen or more people wave or say hi is the best. It is awesome that people stop and engage and try to facilitate my communication. One of my social communities is my skydiving/base jumping communities. I live with Bert and this is why we hang out a fair bit. He got me into skydiving and 3 years ago I was the first person in the world with CP to base jump. This community are amazing and I love them all. We are welcomed from crazy athletes all around the world and so included. Initially I didn't want to be part of this sport but now I am hooked. I have friends all over the world. Friends that want me to visit in France, Idaho and even Oman. This is just one example of my communities I have.
So that was the Kuala Lumpur, 421 meters.
2. Opportunity. I am blessed that throughout my life I have had many opportunities to do many things. Some of these things have been work-related, career-related or many more in my social life. I personally think there are more opportunities in the real world than in a special disability world. This comment may seem a little blunt or straight to the point, but the more people we are around, the more people we can learn from and have support us. One. Having a career. Initially I was going to put the down just employment, but I enjoy also having a career. As a freelance music journalist, my career is always evolving. This for me is one of the best things about having an inclusive life. I like this because I don't know exactly where this will lead me. As opportunities arise, I will adapt and take them. Having a career is an exciting prospect, as in my adult life I now have a community of fellow journalists and friends. They support me in causes that are close to my heart. So that's my inclusive life in a nutshell. My mum was the one that set me on this path, and now it is up to me to maintain this lifestyle. How I will do this is ensure any paid support in my life supports my natural unpaid support. I will also continue the fight for my legal right to partake in all aspects of my community. This is vital, as my definition of inclusion can sometimes differ to others. Being present is simply not enough for me, it is being part. There is always ways to engage and partake in any community one chooses. As a journalist, I immerse myself in my music community. I am known and known by many. In a few weeks' time I will be back down this way for Music Week and the ARIA Awards. My advice to someone who needs help or support with this is to think generic, not disability world. Recently I had a little debate with a disability advocate, and I made the point that my idea of successful advocacy for me is living among my journalist community. I I love the disability advocates. However, a person with a disability has needs outside of this space. I am a firm believer this is possible for all. Thanks for having me today. Let's connect afterwards.